Big Boar BBQ presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG-TV with Dan the Voice Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Reichert. Brought to you by Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar BBQ, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome in, race fans. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG-TV, along with Paul Reichert. I'm radio man Dan Diker. Billy Doc Niles is lost up in the Northwoods someplace with his wife. They're at some country rock boom.
Yeah, banging their heads, yeah.
Thing in a field, mud fest, something like that. So Paul and I on the show today. I want to thank Big Boar BBQ, hosted us last weekend. You can see right there behind us, title sponsor of the program. Great time, had some great interviews. Matt Henderson is going to join us from Big Boar BBQ's Gala Fest last week in the parking lot with 608 Piston Pounders.
That was a great car show. First and third Wednesday of the month. Be out there at Big Boar.
I want to thank Jerry and his staff for feeding us. We had a fantastic meal. And, man, that's always a good time to go up there and talk to Jerry and Blaine and all those guys with the 608 Piston Pounders. Quarter Mile Mania at the La Crosse Speedway last weekend. Let's roll this one here as Jake Chalmers starts to roll his way through the field, not in a six-shooter this time, in a Hornet. Halfway mark. Excuse me. Point leader Michael Wachs Jr. Boof, puffed the Magic Dragon. He went up in a ball of smoke, blew the motor. And as he starts to make his way around, Mike Carlson, Chris Thunderberger right there. Jake Chalmers, though, kept Mike Carlson in his rearview mirror, crosses the line number one. In the point standings, Cheyenne Stanfield leads, but Chris Thunderberg now tied for second.
With Michael Wachs Jr. 12 back, so this race ain't over with yet.
Oh, hobby stock feature was a good one.
Yeah, so pick and roll move by Tom Farah around Jason Bolster with 6 laps to go. And Farah ends up pulling away and down the stretch here, claiming the win, his second straight feature win, and it's also his second straight clean sweep.
Yeah, and that was kind of interesting to find that out. We didn't know that until pre-race interview last week, that he had a clean sweep the week before and then went out and did it again. That's kind of a tough task to do, especially with the likes of Jason Bolster prowling around there, who is going for his another track championship on the Action Track Quarter Mile. Let's go to the street stocks where John Hebner and Rob Stanfield, every time you get those two names in the same sentence, it's going to be good because they're teammates and they're really good wheelmen. And this one here saw Hebner pulling away from Rob Stanfield in the final 4 laps of the street stock feature. He gets the feature win. Those guys raced 8 races combined last Saturday night.
Wow, that's putting in a lot of action on the Action Track Quarter Mile.
And I want to think that Stanfield had 3 trophies and Hebner had 4. Not bad. 7 of the races taking home the hardware. Minivans. Boy, that was a good one.
Yeah, Bernie Lucy, of course, he's been running with us for about 2 years now. He had a good race, but Rob Stanfield got around Bernie on the mid-race restart and claimed the checkered flag to score a clean sweep there and claim his first win of the night. The night was still young for Rob.
6 shooters were out as well. Difference between a La Crosse Speedway street stock and a 6-shooter. They're both 6-cylinder. The 6 shooters are All-American made.
Yes, they are.
So Jake Chalmers came back out again and had a good one with Rob Stanfield going on, as you're going to see right here. Final 6 laps of this was really starting to grow. Some cars were pulling off. Some cars were battling each other from 4th, 5th position all the way back. But Jake Chalmers had this race won. He bobbles with a couple of laps to go. Stanfield pulls away and gets his second victory on the night. Boy, that was a disheartening one there.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Jake, but good effort by him.
Good to see the High School Racing Association back again.
Yes, and defending track champion Ashton Toon Kinsey got around the son of Rob Stanfield, Ryan Stanfield, with 5 laps to go to claim his first win of the season in the High School Racing Association. Could have had another win for Stanfield. That would have been 4 on the night.
Yeah, and his Monte Carlo was nice.
Yes, he has a sharp-looking card.
Red Block 88 they have as
fellow Red Riverhawk here. So
well, you were a Red Raider. Central High School changes the name. Now they're the Riverhawks. Contact Tracks was kind of interesting. What, we have a total of 6?
I think it was something like 8, 6, 7, 8, something like that.
Came out with the first couple were, and they went out pretty quickly. Matt Miller went out kind of quick. He broke something, didn't have any extra tires. When it came down to it, it was Bernie Lucy taking on Rob Stanfield. Stanfield survived the banging that Lucy was trying to give him as they were heading into turn 1, and he drove away with win number 3 on the night. What was interesting in this one here is Zach Leach tried to compete as much as Stanfield did.
Yeah, he did,
And I saw that car that he also had, well, that blue and was his street car. Years ago, the Blue 06. I watched it get picked up like this and put into a crushing pile on Facebook this week. No more of his street stock. How about the Demolition Derby? This was
that has been a lot of fun to watch since they brought it back here. We started with 12 competitors. There was a lot of metal mangling mayhem, a lot of bone-jarring crunches, a lot of T-bone hits, and we slowly started to whittle away the field down here. And after about 10 minutes, Don Smith would be the last car standing and claim the victory in the Demolition Derby.
And then talking about hard hits, Zach Leach was in this one with his demo car. He went out early in this one as he was just getting destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Coolest part of the demo derby was up in the right-hand corner, 3 cars like sitting on top of each other.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
There was only one that really had a chance. Who was the winner again?
Don Smith.
Was the only one that really had a chance to move around. But your thoughts? It's been 20 years since we had a demo derby there, and it's been 2 years in a row that we brought it back. What do you think?
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, putting them on in the infield, the quarter mile, getting it wetted down, that's made it a little more interesting for that Demolition Derby.
And of course, they put down the dishwashing detergent.
Yeah.
What else did they have? They had something else. They were putting down the dishwashing.
They had the truck that was
something with a bunch of soapy.
Yeah.
So because you're coming down on the concrete because they moved the walls out a tad bit.
Yep.
And then so a quarter of it's on the concrete, the rest is on the grass, and they soap it down so you can slide around.
Oh yeah.
It's supposed to maybe take the sparks down a bit. You lose a tire out there.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of Christmas sparks being blown up.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and somebody I think really got a good shot in the rear end. I think. Took a good.
Yeah, there was a compact car that all of a sudden, 3 minutes in, it was like, here's the hood, here's the driver's compartment, everything else is smashed right up to the back. It was cool. It was cool. You can tell we don't go to demo derbies much.
Yeah.
When we come back, highlights from Tomah Sparta Speedway. That's next on 7 Rivers Racing.
Are you tired of the typical fundraiser? Well, Big Boar BBQ can offer you an alternative. How about a pork dinner? Pork, beans, and slaw. A complete meal. It's different, it's fast, and it's easy. And you don't pay for what you don't sell, guaranteeing you make a profit. So if your church, school, sports team, or special cause needs a fundraiser, call us today. We've helped all sorts of groups raise thousands of dollars. Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16, West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
At Big Boar BBQ.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back, race fans. Summer's Racing KQEG TV. I've got a little frog. We had so much rain going on this week that I think I caught a little baby frog or something that's in here somewhere.
Yeah, it's surprising you have to go or something's come out. So
I might be doing that here in a minute. Let's give you some highlights from the Tomah Sparta Speedway. As we had some really good racing last week. Billy Doc Niles came along for the first time since Greg Oliver's taken over the racetrack, and did some pit reporting for me and some interviews, and really enjoyed what he saw with the program with Oliver. I forgot that was his first time there since right to the tutelage.
Yeah, since quite a while. Yeah, he did a good job.
Back again was Davey Pennell. Let's bring things up with the Hornets. It was the Hornet Hustle with an extra money on the line from 7 different avenues. And it was pretty much Mason Morphy, Davey Pennell, Jazzy Meyer. They really put on a show getting this thing started early and often. Fight for the win, though, and the big bucks became down to Mason Morphy And Davey Pennell tried high, couldn't get a pass, tried low, couldn't get a pass. Morphy ran the high line, did what he could, and down the stretch became the inaugural Hornet Hustle champion. And tell you what, Davey Pennell, 2 weeks in a row, has really shown what he can do in that. Now he's got a Ford, is that a Focus?
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah, Ford Focus, one of the only ones we have in the division, so Davey Pennell gets the win. Really good modified shootout going on.
Oh, yes. Bill Schott got the lead early on and had to deal with first Darren Salo, but then along came Bill's cousin Denny, and both Denny Schott and Darren Salo had a little contact with 6 laps to go, and allowed Schott to pull away and try again at getting his cousin for the win. But the fire marshal was able to hold on to the top spot and claim his second win of the season in that modified. Is he liking it more now?
He is, and that's 2 weeks in a row that he and cousin Denny have been going after each other, just bumper to bumper around the third mile at Tomah. Sportsman feature. James Hendricks Jr., Dan Fry. It is a Buick Grand National versus a Camaro all the way through this one. Just like we saw a couple of weeks ago, Fry would get a lead. Here comes Hendricks up to the top side. He'd capture him. It was just like this all the way around. Saw that again happen here, but in the end, it was Dan Fry who leads the points and the Rookie of the Year. He gets the feature win second back-to-back.
Yeah, that sounds familiar, like from last year, when somebody else led the standings and led Rookie of the Year. So
that would have been Alex Rude.
Mr. Schott did
Bill
that
Schott.
as a sportsman.
They did it in 2 different divisions last year. So third win of the year for Mr. Dan Fry. Hobby stocks, man, some different names keep popping up each and every week in the hobby stocks.
You never thought this one would happen. Joey Johnson got Andy Muller to take the leader in the early going. He pulled out to a big lead. The field was having trouble getting through, trying to get up to the front there. Eventually, Aaron Hendricks was first to break out, but then along came Andy Moore and Tom Farah, and then it became a 4-way fight between those 4 and for the win here, but somehow Joey was able to keep Aaron on the outside and hold off both Andy and Tom to claim the victory at Tomah. I believe that's his first career win.
Nope, he's had several, from what I understand.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of records at Tomah Sparta Speedway.
Yeah, we don't.
I've been there since 2007, and there's not a whole lot of records. I know there are some track records buried someplace, but I guess he's had some wins, but it's been a long time ago. So Joey Johnson, the cool thing is not only him getting a win, holding off Tom Farah and Andy Moore. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do.
That's not an easy thing to do at all, Qualified last, but somehow he was able to pull off that impressive drive and claim the victory. That was something else to watch.
6-shooter's mighty impressive as well. 6-shooter racer Tristan Drizkowski, who celebrated a birthday last Friday at the Speedway. Second-year competitor Taylor McMullen cracked the top 3 in the first 11 laps. And those two have been putting on some good shows, especially McMullen, because before last year, nobody knew where he came from.
Nobody knew. He's a newcomer, and he's been putting on some impressive drives. They were both reeling in Justin DeLapp Sr. here.
Yeah, Justin DeLapp looked like he was going to get his first win. Matt Moore worked his way through the field like he normally does, as you're going to see here. Moore drives around Draz Jr. for third. McMullen starts to pull away from DeLapp and gets his first ever checkered flag win at Tomah. So you're going to hear a lot about Taylor McMullen. That is his third win. 2 features and a heat over the past 2 weeks.
Yes, he's put an impressive showing here in recent weeks.
Stop and go race. One of those that you like to
Yes, this is a fun race to watch. They have cones set up on the front straight before the start-finish line. You have to stop in that zone before you finish the lap. And we had 4 cars in there, Charles Vian, Clayton Hassig, Alex Rude, and one other car. It was basically a battle of the 6-shooters and the soccer moms there. And both Vian and Hessig were pulling away, but halfway through the race, Charles Vian got a little better go off the stop and started to pull away from Clayton to claim the victory in the stop-and-go race. And
that, to me, is one of the first wins for Charles Vian Jr., who's raced between Tomah and La Crosse quite a bit the past 5 or 6 years. First win for him in quite a while. So a lot still coming up. Bandoleros have been rained out twice at Tomah. Remember, we taped the show on Wednesdays. So if you're watching this Thursday or Friday, the Bandos haven't raced yet, but it looks like we're going to have good weather this week. And of course, if you're watching Saturday or Sunday, we'll have more highlights for you next weekend. But be the first time we see Bentley Thompson, who's been on this program, the son of Jeff Thompson.
Yep. And we got a few other famous names coming by.
Johnny Sauter's kid runs Bandoleros this year. Dan Lenzing, who they used to own Dells Raceway Park, his child has been running bandos, so hopefully they show up at Friday and make one heck of a show. When we come back, we're going to take you back to Big Boar BBQ last week, one of our show favorites. We are on his race car, have been for a while. Great partnership with Always in the Hunt Matt Henderson. That's coming up next on Seven Rivers Racing.
7 years and counting. Hi, Jerry here. For 7 years in a row, Big Boar BBQ has been voted the best barbecue and caterer by the people of La Crosse County. I am humbled by your praise. We work our hardest to provide good food and service to any size group, from a small lunch to large wedding reception. We can provide full service or just drop off the food for you to serve. The dates are filling fast, so call us today. Big Boar BBQ and Catering, Highway 16, West Salem. A delicious mouthful.
At Big Boar BBQ.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back, 7 Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, along with Doc Niles and Paul Reichert. I'm Dan Diker, doing the show at Big Boar BBQ, the title sponsor. And I tell you what, if I had my way, we would do every show outside Big Boar BBQ.
They can't afford us to be here every week.
Well, that and Al Losey would have to take the 3X up a notch on both of us.
More buttons for you.
Yeah, and well, he's got a T-shirt on today. He doesn't have the hair hanging out. What do you think, Big Boar every show?
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
I know our guest likes to come out here every time we come out. Wrecked his car Saturday night. Well, he didn't wreck his car, his late model Saturday night. He had some help in wrecking his car. And Matt said, you still want me to come on the show? Because usually he parks it right over here. We're like, he's been a staple of the program since, I think, day number 1. Matt Henderson out of West Salem going to join us on the program. Matt, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me up here.
I wish it would have been under different circumstances. I wish Jesse was over there with that video camera on both of your driveultra.org, late model and super late model. But late model is going through surgery.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good year. You know, speed-wise, we've been really fast almost every week. I think we could have had a couple, 2-3 wins maybe by now, feature wins, but you know, that's racing. That's stuff happens, and she's at the doctor getting all fixed up. So hopefully we get it put back together how it's supposed to be, and come back next week and be a rocket.
Paul and I were talking last week. 3 drivers that really stick out to me, and I don't play favorites of the Speedway. Everybody knows that, so don't get on that little kick. 3 drivers this year that have really stepped up their game are you, Jeremy Wagner, Steve Bachman, right off the bat. I mean, you guys are putting down great times. You're having great races. You're winning heat races, Bud Dashes. You're winning features. I mean, something just clicked this year.
Yeah, well, we had that other car since we started in like 2005, I believe, and we kind of just decided, you know, we're getting our butts kicked quite frequently up there. So we said, you know, if we're going to keep doing it, we need to step up our game, and so that's what we did, and
come here, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's paying off.
Okay, so let's talk about.
I got to say kudos to a longtime friend of mine here, DJ Jeremy Luck. You're gonna
Luke.
I'd say Luck. We had to bring him in real quick. He's DJing the 608 Piston Punters car show.
Patiently waiting over there for us to get
he
done.
He hit the music, but when he did, I looked over Bill's shoulder and we made eye contact, and he turned it down real quick after doing sound checks. I just had to give you props, man.
Always. I appreciate that very much,
Nobody's
guys.
scared
really
of
do.
Diker.
Absolutely.
Why would you be?
We're going to let Jeremy stand in here as well. Meet late model driver Matt Henderson.
All right, Matt, so let's talk about your season. Get a little bump on the road to start the season, but you got the ship righted, and wow, you were a rocket.
Yeah, we've been really fast almost every week, and that was our goal, just to be in the conversation. You know, every week we're right up there, you know, top 5 almost every week, and qualifying. If I was a little better qualifier, we'd probably have more fast times, but it seems like we're always second or third in qualifying right there. And so, yeah, we're competitive, having fun, and that's a breath of fresh air. We've been struggling for a long time, and we just said if we're going to do it, we need to step up our game, and, yeah, it's been pretty awesome.
You know, you and I clicked just like Billy and I did 15 years ago when I first came to the racetrack. And I've seen your frustrations. I mean, there was times you just wanted to pack up the whole show, and that was going to be it. And your dad, John, your wife has been behind you during all these times. I've seen the frustration. So this year just has to make you sit back and go, it's about time.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun going to the racetrack when you at least know you got a shot to be competitive. And, you know, we haven't won a feature yet. I think we could have had a few, but, you know, we're still in the hunt, like you always say. We're up there.
I like that better than Hollywood. Where did the Hollywood thing ever come up with?
You were wearing glasses, and your old man.
I know it was the sunglasses.
And your dad said, looking at me, looks like he's in Hollywood, and so every time I get to announce a fast dash, it's Hollywood Henderson.
Yeah, whatever. You can call me just about anything you want. I don't care.
Always in the hunt. I mean, I remember that from years and years and years ago, and that's just something that stuck.
Yeah, that's one of our first sponsors. He's got a website, and he just does apparel. I think he trademarked the word or the wording in the hunt, and so yeah.
Now you got to pay him every time you say it.
Yeah, right.
Royalties.
Yeah, right.
Maybe DJ Jeremy will put a sticker on his little facade here. Always in the hunt.
Yeah, we could
take it on the road with him. Talk about this late model class. We've had the best numbers of pretty much any racetrack in the entire country this year. When you talk about late models, we're anywhere between 24 on some given nights, 29, maybe even 30. This is a really, really good class to be a part of and call this year.
Yeah, it's the more the merrier, and we've had a ton of cars. A bunch of Minnesota guys come down, and I'm happy to have them there. It just raises the bar of the competition. I think Gady's been down, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now, and I think he's won almost every one that he's been at, and that's our measuring stick, So we're fine-tuning the car. Our car was a super late, so we had to change tons of stuff on it to make it legal, and so now we're finally getting it, where we think we need it, and yeah, it's been a blast.
And I know Paul had a question about your new Super Late, which is another Johnny Sauter car.
Yeah. What kind of work did you have to do with that car? With the Super Late model, there was a lot of work doing that, but is it much different from the old Crosse Late model you had?
Is the new car different? It's just probably Johnny's latest and greatest, I guess, until the one he's building now, which
you might claim.
No, we're not going to claim that one.
And the cool thing that you had told me when you got the first car and the second car, it wasn't just like, we buy DJ equipment, hey, what's your stuff like? And he doesn't tell me. Johnny's been over, and he's gone through every inch of that car, and you've got notebooks about this thick.
Yeah, I never could have dreamed, he'd be the way he is. He could have sold us the car and said, have a nice day. And I talked to him multiple times on Saturdays, during the races even, he says, you got questions, give me a call. So, yeah. To have the support from him, he wants to see us go out there and kick some butt too, So it's a pretty special friendship it's turned into, and never in my wildest dreams would I think we'd have not only one but 2 Johnny Sauter's cars. So.
All right, we got about a minute left here, so let's talk about some of the advertising partners getting you through the 2021 season.
Well.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Hey, I do this about once a year, so I don't want to miss anybody. We got Ultra Federal Credit Union, driveultra.org, Custom Excavating, Bernie's Equipment, Hess Excavating, Hungry Peddler, Bond Drywall, Skyco Metalworks, Crest Precast, Contractor Supply West Salem, Timmers 10 Mile Pub, Limitless Graphics and Design, KQEG TV, DJ Dan Diker, Tomcat Racing Engines, and John's Drywall.
I actually have a sticker on his car. I've DJ'd your smokers, 10 years in a row now? It's been phenomenal. Talking about that real quick before we go, the first couple of 6-way piston pounder car shows they had here, I DJ'd. And, of course, with my schedule, I just couldn't do it anymore. So, Jeremy, you've been doing this for how long now?
Last year was every other Wednesday, every one and third Wednesday. And then this year I'm trying to get back into it, too. So, but I feel like ever since the things have gotten a little bit more calmed down and people are ready to get out and have a good time and work hard and pivot and go for it. Like you said, always in the hunt.
And you're a younger guy. I've been doing these car shows for darn near 30 some odd years. This gives you a good chance not only to look at some of the cars, but to get into some of the music that was phenomenal with these cars back in the day.
Absolutely. I love classics. That's one thing I love being a DJ, you know, doing weddings all the way up to clubs. You get to do all kinds of it and love all kinds of music, different vibes, different age groups, different cultures. That's what I love about being a DJ. It's all about music.
So if I'm not available to DJ, Jeremy is probably the only DJ in this area that I would highly recommend. I've seen what he's done. I know what his wife Kat can do photography-wise. So you got to get a hold of this guy.
He can't wait to get out of here and press play.
He's going to press play. We're going to go press play on the food.
Best of luck the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Hopefully we'll see you in Victory Lane.
All righty, Matt Henderson on the program. Of course, DJ Jeremy again. Look him up. It's Lueck on Facebook.
Unforgettable Entertainment's the company.
And Kat takes some great pictures. I've seen them all. That's going to do it for Seven Rivers Racing. I want to thank Doc. I want to thank Paul, my guests, Jesse, my producer, standing behind the camera. Let's go get some barbecue.
I'm in.
All right.
The best barbecue around.
He's got it right. This is Seven Rivers Racing.
You've been watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Reichert. Brought to you by Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar BBQ. Now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
Are you tired of the typical fundraiser? Well, Big Boar BBQ can offer you an alternative. How about a pork dinner? Pork, beans, and slaw. A complete meal. It's different, it's fast, and it's easy. And you don't pay for what you don't sell, guaranteeing you make a profit. So if your church, school, sports team, or special cause needs a fundraiser, call us today. We've helped all sorts of groups raise thousands of dollars. Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
At Big Boar BBQ.